Greetings, fellow humans. I'm MartianBuu, and today we got a really exciting new card, Prince Ranathal. This is a 3 mana 3/4 neutral card. Your deck size and starting health are 40. This is a really unique effect in Hearthstone, and it's a really fun one to build decks around. I know this card might seem like it's a really strong effect, and it might be, but the deck size increase is actually the downside of this effect. So the shorter your deck size is, the more consistent your deck is, and the more consistent, the more powerful. So typically you don't want to add more cards to your deck, but you do get 10 more health. 10 more health means that Reno Jackson heals for more when you play him, because Reno Jackson heals you to full. I love Reno decks, and maybe you like Reno decks too, so I've made my first 5 Reno ideas to go with this new card. First up, we have Reno Paladin. It's the same as it has been as far as like what you're running in it. You got the Lightforged Carriel and then a bunch of like really chonky things. One of the benefits of Prince in this deck is Molten Giant. It costs 1 less for each damage you've taken, so you don't have to be as low for Molten Giant to be free. Obviously, you'd still like to use it with the call, but you do get to drop a Molten Giant much sooner. The flip side of that is Localar is a little harder to activate, but in either case, I think they're both worth it, because you're trying to play Nozdormu and then play a bunch of really heavy things. I do have front lines in here. The average minion in your deck is going to be much bigger than the average minion in your opponent's deck. So you play Nozdormu and then you play front lines, and because your minions are bigger and so many of them have rush, it's much more likely to be a one-sided effect in your favor. But yeah, play big cards, Reno Paladin. Next up, we have LPG Mage. The general strategy doesn't change too much. It's just discount your dragons with LPG and then try to get an OTK with the Alexes. One of the big benefits of the extra cards in this deck, apart from the extra health total to get more value with Reno, is you can run the same amount of spells and have a higher minion density for Book of Specters. So with so many more cards in your deck that are minions, your Book of Specters has less chance to hit a spell. We're running all of the spell tutors to make it a little bit easier to find LPG. Magister Nongrass gets extra value with Book of Specters now, because you need so much more draw because your deck is bigger, so it helps more to have Magister Nongrass than it used to. But otherwise, it's the same LPG that we've been running, just bigger deck, more health. All right, so this is the first of the spicier inclusions. Those two were mostly just kind of what makes sense, and then it's going to make a little bit less sense as we go on from here. But I do think that this is actually one of the cooler ways to take advantage of the extra deck size. So Supreme Archaeology is a card I really like. Draw 20 cards, and then you get a hero power that draws a card and reduces the cost of the card drawn to 0. With a 30-card deck, by the time you've drawn 20 cards, frequently you don't have that many cards left in your deck to discount. But with 40 cards in your deck, you get 10 extra cards to potentially discount with your hero power. So this is otherwise Reno Lock with that in mind. We have Kazakusan if we run out of cards, even more cards to discount. Dragon Queen Alexstrasza makes that pretty cheap, and we get the benefit of Nether Breath with our Dragon package. We get to run other cool cards like Valdris Felgorge, because we want to get to our hero power being active, and having the extra cards in our hand is sweet. And then Plot Twist, if we get that early, it really accelerates the hero power completion. So a lot of extra early game in here, and then dragons for our end game. Hopefully our hero power gets to do cool things. All right, so for this druid, when I was making the decks in chat, people kept saying Malchezaar Cthulhu, so I made a Malchezaar Cthulhu deck. We get 10 extra cards from the Prince, and then we have Malchezaar to add 5 random legendaries, and we have Cthulhu to add 4 Cthulhu pieces. So this is our 49 card deck. But otherwise, it's just Reno Dragon Druid. So we have so much extra cards to draw, so we're running Ultimate and Miracle Growth alongside Isiel. We get our Guff as usual and just try to play a bunch of cards, draw through our deck, outvalue the opponent. This is the full-on silly deck, so don't expect great results, but if you wanted to play the 49 card, 40 health deck, this is what I came up with. And finally, we have Pirate Rogue. I wanted to have one aggressive option. This kind of sounded cute. There are a lot of good pirates, and there's a few things that Rogue can do with that extra time that the extra health buys you. So Shadow Step and Zephyrus are a good combination, so that's somewhat of an excuse to run Highlander already. And then later on in the game we have Pirate Admiral Hook Tusks, so if you've been looking for an opportunity to play that in Wild, this might give you just a little bit enough of an edge to do it. And then we have Krakatoa, Scabs, Asharan Vessel, Edwin with Mr. Smite. So there's a lot of cool stuff we can do later on in the game with the extra time that the extra health buys us. Obviously, this isn't going to be as good as like a 30-card Swordfish Rogue, but I had a lot of fun playing this today, and I think it's a really cool deck if you want something that's a little bit less laid back to play with the new card. So those are the 5 decks that I built so far. I have a ton more ideas, and I think I'm going to be making a lot of content with this card between now and when the set actually comes out. Let me know in the comments which of these decks you're most excited to try, if any, or what other decks you're excited to build. Definitely let me know if there's anything you'd like to see me play. Remember to like and subscribe to support the channel, and thank you so much for watching.